This is ABC7 News at 11, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, a march and vigil taking place in Bradenton for the man who was shot and killed by a Manatee County Sheriff's deputy on Tuesday night. As ABC7's Rick Adams shows us, the march for Corey Mobley and others killed by law enforcement, bringing out dozens of demonstrators.
Well, the march began here at the DeSoto Square Mall parking lot and went right across the street to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Protesters are searching for some answers in these law enforcement-involved shooting deaths. They marched and carried signs such as "Jail Killer Cops" and "Stop Police Terror." 38-year-old Corey Mobley was shot and killed by a Manatee County Sheriff's deputy Tuesday night. Community activist Alton Lilly says he and others are fed up with these officer-involved shooting deaths of African-American men.
We need to get to, is it racism? We try our best not to put it on racism, but the statistics line up. Who is the most likely to get killed by police? An unarmed black man.
The ordeal started with a domestic dispute when Mobley was reported beating his wife in a gas station parking lot. He would later be spotted in a 6th Street West neighborhood in Bradenton. The sheriff's office says the deputy fired a total of 4 shots, 2 after he put his hands in his waistband saying he had a gun, and 2 shots were fired after he again said he had a gun. No gun was ever found. Friday night's protest was organized by Natasha Clemens. Her son, Rodney Mitchell, was killed in a deputy-involved shooting in Sarasota County back in 2012. She is also a first cousin to Corey Mobley.
It brings out the community so that they can take a stand and do what's right. And that's to, help fight this fight.
The protesters who are on hand say they are going to continue to have their voices heard. Lily had this message for the Manatee County Sheriff.
Rick Wells, you know I respect you. I'm not fighting against you, but we're fighting the system. Point blank.
And we did reach out to the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, but they did not want to comment regarding Friday night's march and protest. Reporting from Bradenton, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick. An elementary school custodian in Northport is behind bars tonight. 55-year-old Robert Hudson charged with child pornography after Sarasota County Sheriff's investigators found that material on his home computer. Hudson is a custodian at Glen Allen Elementary School in Northport. The Sarasota County School District has placed Hudson on administrative leave with pay pending the outcome of that investigation. The school district says Hudson had a clean background check and did not have any complaints against him in the past.
As I have 2 children in the system, I want to make sure that everyone that's going to be along with my children and yours is as safe as possible, because I assume that anyone we employ could be with mine and theirs.
Hudson had his first court appearance this morning. His bond was set at $250,000. Well, if you're looking for something fun to do with your family this Saturday, expect it to be a hot event at the annual Fire Fest, which will be held at the Carlton Reserve. From 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can see how prescribed burns protect our communities from wildfires. You can watch burn demos, helicopter water drops, go on nature walks, and enjoy free food and games. Once again, it goes from 10 to 2, and it's at the Mabry Carlton Memorial Preserve in Venice. And speaking of fire, it's Prescribed Fire Awareness Week, and Sarasota County is getting the word out about fire safety. ABC7 spoke to Jay Bailey with Sarasota Fire, who gave us a preview about one of the things Fire Fest event goers will be learning about: prescribed burns. Those are scheduled burns that are done to restore the ecosystem back to its original state.
So the landscape of Florida was created with common fire. Fire moved through here, with lightning being the main catalyst for that, and basically shaped the landscape of the vegetation. Animals became adapted to that. The birds learned how to fly away. Gopher tortoises go underground. So all the animals are adapted to that, and they understand that fire is part of their ecosystem.
Bailey says prescribed burns are also a way to prevent severe wildfires before a drought or dry conditions hit the area. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our weather for the Saturday morning ahead. Bob?
Yeah, it's important we learn about that fire danger, because we're going to be entering into brush fire season in about a month from now, a month and a half. 64 degrees right now. We have a few clouds around. This temperature is pretty warm, but that wind out of the east, anywhere from 10 to 15 miles an hour, does make it feel a little bit cooler out there. The barometer is extremely high, 30, 37, and that's the reason why it's been so windy as of late. That high pressure system a little bit further off to the north of us. We're trapped between a low pressure and a high pressure, and we're getting the wind in the middle. And you can see all these clouds here. You can see some low-level clouds ripping off toward the west right there, while the high clouds are moving off toward the northeast. Now, there's a upper level low that is moving into the Gulf of Mexico, but it will eventually work its way to the surface. We'll see a surface reflection, a low pressure area will develop in the Gulf. There's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt we are going to see clouds and showers on Sunday. The doubt is the exact timing of the system, but right now it appears that it may be later in the afternoon and evening. Temperatures right now all pretty much in the 60s here along the west coast of Florida, a little bit warmer in Miami at 73 and cooler in Jacksonville. We'll have a look at those forecast models coming up in just a few minutes. Jacqueline?
Okay, thank you, Bob. In Washington tonight, the president may be back in the White House from his overseas trip in Switzerland, but the homecoming is not expected to be a peaceful one. A new firestorm is brewing over the Russia investigation. This after a New York Times report was released claiming President Trump ordered the firing of special counsel Robert Mueller just 1 month after Mueller was appointed to that job. Arlette Saenz is in Washington with the latest.
Back at the White House, President Trump touted his trip to Davos.
I think it was a very, very successful trip.
But he ignored questions about that new bombshell in the Russia investigation.
Mr. President, have you thought of firing Robert Mueller?
The New York Times reports last June, the president asked White House counsel Don McGahn to fire special counsel Robert Mueller. The president reportedly told associates he thought Mueller had conflicts of interest. According to the Times, the president relented after McGahn threatened to quit, arguing such a move would have a catastrophic effect on Mr. Trump's presidency. Before leaving Davos, the president pushed back.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
What's your message?
Typical New York Times fake stories.
The president's White House lawyer for the Russia probe declined to comment out of respect for the office of the special counsel and its process. The president has previously said ousting Mueller isn't on the table.
Mr. President, have you thought about or considered leading the dismissal of the special counsel? Or is there anything that Bob Mueller could do that you would send you in that direction?
I haven't given it any thought.
But Democrats are sounding off.
If this president decides to move against that special counsel, it could erode the rule of law in this country in a way that would be a devastating blow.
Back in August, lawmakers introduced legislation to limit a president's power to remove a special counsel. Senator Cory Booker and other Democrats are renewing calls for Congress to consider those bills. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Florida is launching a criminal investigation into a former state senator who abruptly resigned after credible evidence of sexual misconduct. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement says it is now conducting an active investigation of Jack Latvala. However, no details were given. Latvala announced his resignation last month after a report found he likely inappropriately touched a top Senate aide and may have broken the law by offering a witness in the case his support in exchange for sex acts. Latvala, a Clearwater Republican, has denied any wrongdoing. And the race for the vacant House District 72 seat continues. Sample ballots for the special election, which fills the seat previously held by Alex Miller, were mailed out today. Voting is set for February 13th. And don't forget, ABC7 News at 7 will have a special roundtable discussion with the candidates, Margaret Good, Allison Foxall, and James Buchanan on January 30th, next Tuesday at 7 p.m. It'll be the only time these candidates will be together in one place to discuss the issues affecting District 72. Well, new numbers from the CDC show the flu epidemic is at its worst in nearly a decade, the most intense since the swine flu outbreak in 2009, and it hasn't even peaked yet. This week, a Florida school district closing its doors to students so that classrooms could be thoroughly cleaned. The superintendent for Gulf County School District in Florida's Panhandle says the district is just trying to be proactive.
There have been several deaths related to the influenza breakout this year across Florida, and I know one in the Panhandle, and I know that's a tragic loss, and you don't think it can happen to you until it happens to you.
Something that is unique to this year's flu epidemic, the CDC says hospitalization rates are higher among people between the ages of 50 and 64 than for very young children. It's usually the other way around, but the hardest hit group is still those 65 years and older. Pharmacy giant Walgreens saying in a statement that the sudden surge in demand means some version of dosages of Tamiflu may be unavailable in parts of Florida. Well, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast. Plus, the investigation into a false missile alert sent out in Hawaii reaches a speed bump. Why the employee accused says he is no longer cooperating. And a Florida man in the national spotlight last year for running away with a teenage girl back in court.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator, there was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
All hands on deck. What's up? I want to point out 3 tips for using the home computer more safely. Point away.
First, stop. Make sure your software is up to date and that you've password protected your computer's login and Wi-Fi connection.
Next, think before visiting a site, opening attachments, or clicking on links.
Then connect, knowing you're helping make the web safer for you.
And for everyone. Make Stop, Think, Connect part of your daily online routine.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new animal adventure. From swimming to playing tag and just hanging with your friends, it's paradise for a bear. We'll take you on a tour of Paradise Ranch. And this week's Animal Encounter introduces us to a freshwater crocodile that's one of the most endangered crocs found in the wild. Join us this week on ABC7.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a part-time media controller to manage various stages of video on-air content playout. General computer skills are an absolute must. Visit mysuncoast.com/job-of-the-day to apply. ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
The state emergency management employee blamed for a false missile alert in Hawaii is not cooperating with investigators. The alert causing panic on the state on January 13th before it was corrected 38 minutes later. But according to Hawaii's emergency management agency, the employee is no longer talking. He says he gave his initial statement after the incident and now says he has nothing more to add. Officials say he caused the blunder by pressing the wrong button during a routine drill. Both federal and state agencies are now investigating, including the Federal Communications Commission. The man accused of going on a killing spree in Tampa's Seminole Heights neighborhood was back in a Florida courtroom today. Hal Donaldson III pleading not guilty to first-degree murder charges for allegedly killing 4 people last year. According to local media reports, Donaldson learned shortly before his hearing that prosecutors are seeking the death penalty. Donaldson's parents were also in court today, facing potential charges of contempt of court for allegedly refusing to answer questions in the case. Donaldson's next court date is set for June. His parents are due back in court in February. A Florida judge has reduced the bail for a former high school soccer coach accused of having sex with a student. Ryan Rodriguez is awaiting trial on charges of unlawful sexual activity with a minor and interference with child custody. In court today, his family asked the judge to reduce his bond. The judge upheld the $100,000 bond for the child sex charge, but did reduce the bond on the custody charge from $25,000 to $5,000. Rodriguez was the subject of a nationwide search last year after disappearing with a runaway teenage girl from the school where he had been a boys soccer coach. They were found together in Syracuse, New York. If convicted, Rodriguez could face up to 35 years in prison. Well, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joining us now with a look at our forecast. What can we expect this weekend ahead?
Well, it was warm today, wasn't it?
I know, it was.
78 degrees.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, a lot of folks writing home, back home to some of their people that live up north. Hey, it was nice down there, 78. We are looking at some warm weather tomorrow. Should be a nice day. And then Sunday, changes are in store. This is the Casey Key webcam showing a review of what was going on today, especially this afternoon. It's quite nice out there, although a bit windy at times. We had a lake wind advisory. Still breezy tonight as winds are moving basically from the east and warming us up here along the Sun Coast. So looks like a couple of photos sent in. This one from Art Conforti, who's watching right now on Facebook. Art, appreciate that beautiful shot. This is a look at the Ringling Bridge, and a nice shot it was with clear skies. Weather headlines read like this. Look for variable clouds on Saturday, so we'll see a mixture of sun and clouds. Because of the storm system developing in the Gulf of Mexico, some high clouds will be streaming overhead, but the sun will come through now and again. Showers to move in on Sunday. The timing of it now appears to be afternoon and mainly in the late afternoon and evening, and it looks like cooler weather for Tuesday. Now we'll see the chillier weather move in on Monday, but then the cooler weather will be in colder weather on Tuesday and Wednesday morning. And the weather looks okay, by the way, for the Gasparilla invasion tomorrow. Things are looking okay for that tomorrow as well. A lot of people attending that. You can see these low-level clouds moving this way. That's the high-pressure ridge off the Carolina coast. We have an upper-level low, which continues to bring some rainfall into Texas and Louisiana. And then the high-pressure system is still located well to our north, but it's a big high. And around that high-pressure ridge, we're getting this east to southeasterly wind at times, and that is bringing in some warm, moist air to the east coast. You can see even a few light rain showers there. We have some high clouds streaming in, though, from the southwest, and the lower clouds are staying along the east. Now, this is just one forecast model. This is the U.S. model, GFS, indicating the rain a little earlier, right around 10 o'clock, starting to come in, but really picking up in intensity just after 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then not all that intense with the heavier storms to the north. Now, there is a chance we'll see some thunderstorms. Right now, the risk of severe weather is really quite small at this point, so we're really not anticipating much in terms of severe weather. This is the European model. Now, this is a little later in the day. We start to see that rain build up, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The heavier rain coming after 4, 5, or 6, 4 o'clock up to about 6 o'clock. The heavier showers moving through, and then still lingering on Monday morning. Now, we'll get to another model in just a minute, but currently we have 64 degrees. The dew point is at 56, and winds are out of the east at 9. The pressure way up there, 30, 37. The high today, I want to show you real quickly, 78 was the high. This morning's low was warm at 62. Well, it's 50 in Jacksonville, 55 in Orlando, 60 degrees in Miami, and 65 in Key West. Tomorrow's forecast looks pretty good for Saturday. I think it'll be the best of the 2 days. We'll see a mixture of sun and clouds with highs in the upper 70s. Should be really quite nice out there. Still a bit of a breeze, though, out of the east, and this particular forecast model shows a few clouds around now and again through Saturday. Big storms to the north of us, as you see, kind of blowing up there. And then this particular line, this is at 2:30 in the afternoon, approaching the Sun Coast, and then moving in not until 5:30. So take your pick. I think basically it looks like a little later in the afternoon we're going to see that. As far as rainfall totals go, I think most everyone will see some rain, more like a half inch. There could be some isolated areas up to about an inch. Current temps around the U.S., chilly weather and cold weather starting to move in over the northern plain states. Still pretty mild for this time, 50 in Cleveland. And as far as highs go tomorrow, 46 there in Cleveland, 50s though in St. Louis and Kansas City. Still very cold over the northern plain states. Well, here is a look at the forecast for us. Saturday, not bad, 78, a few clouds. First alert weather day for showers and a few thunderstorms, a few scattered in the morning, more numerous in the afternoon and evening. Cools down a little bit on Monday, but much cooler on Tuesday, 64 for your high. A chilly start on Wednesday morning and 40s, low 40s, even some upper 30s inland. And then we warm up gradually on Thursday and Friday. Jacqueline?
Okay, thank you so much, Bob. Sports is next, but first, here's what's coming up on Jimmy Kimmel.
This show is dedicated to you. I want to say is I know you're a lot more fashionable than I am, but it looks like there was a fire in the middle of the night. And you put on whatever was closest.
That's exactly what I was going for.
This holiday season, show a little imagination. For her, how about a visit to the spa or an evening at a fine restaurant? For him, it could be a round of golf on a world-class course or gear from the pro shop. You'll find these gifts and more at rtjgolf.com/gift cards. RTJ gift cards and resort cards are easy to wrap and never go out of style. Whether it's a good drive, a great steak, or relaxation at the spa, Find it at rtjgolf.com/giftcards.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. We promise we're more than a dealership. We're a destination with a movie theater, massage room, aquarium, cafe, and more. We promise to give you top dollar for your trade, even if you don't buy from us. And if you do, we promise you the best deal. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here.
Why, you don't like my hair?
The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm going to show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch The Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't do dialysis, if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Then Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking an assistant news director to guide daily operations. Minimum 3 years newsroom management experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply. Now, sports.
Vince McMahon's decision to relaunch the XFL in 2 years might make you wonder whatever happened to another pro football startup set to launch years ago in Lakewood Ranch. Major League Football made a similar announcement in 2015 but has yet to host their first season. Leadership says they are still trying to secure investors and hope to get players on the field later this year. McMahon says there's already $100 million behind the XFL, which will feature 8 teams. It's unclear if both the leagues will share the same spring season to complement the NFL.
I think the announcement yesterday of XFL, getting rebooted, I think is really going to force them to make a decision about what they want to do.
Competition is what makes American business go, and hopefully we'll be up and running well long before he hits the field.
Major League Football hit its second financial hurdle this month, parting ways with CEO and major investor Jerry Craig. More fallout from the Larry Nassar sexual abuse scandal now rocking USA Gymnastics. Just days after the former Michigan State and Olympic team doctor sentencing, a second prominent MSU official steps down, and the U.S. Olympic Committee is now calling on the entire USA Gymnastics board to resign. ABC's Zachary Keish is in New York with more details.
New tonight, USA Gymnastics board members will comply with the U.S. Olympic Committee and resign, all seen as part of the environment that enabled disgraced Dr. Larry Nassar's sexual abuse that lasted for years.
We apologize to the victims of Larry Nassar.
And the Michigan State Board of Trustees apologizing.
In my heart of hearts, I really do not believe anybody here thought that Larry Nassar was the monster that he is.
And admitting that change is overdue.
This is about changing the culture at Michigan State University that allowed a predator to exist among us.
MSU responding to complaints it had not done enough to stop the former school and Olympic team doctor from sexually abusing gymnasts at its training facility, prompting the school president to resign on Wednesday and the school athletic director to retire on Friday. The same week, Nasser was sentenced up to 175 years in prison. Olympic medalist Allie Raisman on The View.
My work and the Army of Survivors, we're not done yet. We still have to hold these organizations accountable.
Authorities confirming to ABC News there is an active investigation of the famed Caroli Ranch run by husband and wife training team of Bella and Marta Caroli. At this time, the Carolis have not been charged with any crime and have not been accused of knowing about the abuse. Back in Michigan, the Board of Trustees also announced it has requested the state's Attorney General to launch an independent investigation. Zachary Keish, ABC News, New York.
That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
For the last decade, S&S Motorsports of Sarasota has built custom high-performance vehicles for demanding clients worldwide. They're now bringing their 50-plus years of combined build expertise to the parts business. SRQ Performance Parts is your one-stop shop for all your performance parts and accessories.
I heard about the Dottoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dottoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dottoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
I just need a second.
Is your weight holding you back and affecting your health?
Did you see this? Your cousin had a heart attack.
Really?
Excess weight or obesity can be serious, but you can do something about it. Visit yourweightmatters.org. Download the free toolkit to prepare you to speak with a healthcare provider. Your weight does matter. Accept the challenge and take charge today. Visit yourweightmatters.org.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a multimedia producer for our morning news program. Strong and efficient digital, social media, and writing skills required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
Watch Good Morning Suncoast on ABC7, weekdays starting at 5.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
James Franco has been erased from the cover of Vanity Fair's annual issue celebrating Hollywood and the Academy Awards. The publication said in a statement, quote, "We made a decision not to include James Franco on the Hollywood cover once we learned of the misconduct allegations against him." According to The Hollywood Reporter, Franco was digitally removed from the cover. The actor has since denied allegations by 5 women who told the LA Times earlier this month that they experienced inappropriate and sometimes sexually exploitive behavior by Franco. Well, Lady Gaga, Kelly Clarkson, and Cyndi Lauper are among the celebrities who say they will wear white roses to show their support for women. It's part of an effort organized by a group called the Voices in Entertainment. They're calling for members of the music industry to wear white roses at the Grammy Awards this Sunday to show support for women speaking out against sexual harassment and inequality. The Grammy Awards will air this Sunday on CBS. And if it is a little bit of a rainy evening, Grammys, staying inside, don't sound too bad.
Absolutely. We're going to see some storms around Sunday, and be sure to tune in to ABC7 on Sunday evening as well. We'll update on the weather as well as all over the weekend, and be sure to download and listen to our app, our weather app, because we'll be updating that too over the weekend.
All right. Thank you so much, Bob, and thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll see you right back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.